Good morning, everyone, or afternoon, or night, whatever it is, where you are at this present time of day. Who knows? Perhaps I'll be watching this in the future. It'll be good night for me, even though it's morning right now. We have got a pretty cool TvZ coming up here. It is featuring two of the prominent Australian players. I had the I didn't actually catch this live, but I saw one of the tweets from one of the players after, and apparently this was a pretty sick game. So I said, you know what, drop me that replay and we'll have a look and make sure that people can see how awesome you two are. Starting at the top right hand side, playing it for Team NV. It is one of the Terran Terrors of Australia. It is Rossi. He's going to be our player at the top right-hand side of Whirlwind today. Of course, the latter version of Whirlwind. Does this have the difference in the rocks? No, it doesn't. In the GSL version of this, or the second edition, whatever you want to call it, there's a second sort of portion of rocks here that makes this a much thinner ramp, because at the moment this is a 1.5 ramp. Talking in terms of force fields there, of course, which is how most people sort of refer to it, I think. But in GSL and that kind of thing, it was made so that this is actually just a 1 ramp, so it's a little bit easy to defend your third base. Anyway, his opponent down at the bottom right-hand side is one of the best Zerg players we have in the Australian scene here. At least one of the perhaps the 3 contending for that title. It is Mafia from Team Immunity. He's going to be fighting it out here in our bottom right position. Looks like he is in fact gone for a very early pull. I believe that was a 10 pull, so he's going to be sending out some links very quickly. This is something which has gained a little bit of prominence on this map for Zerg players. They say, you know what? This is a map where everyone's going to be thinking, I'm going to be expanding super fast, and, you know, it might be a good idea for me if I can actually just, you know, just counteract that by getting out some very early lings. And Mafia has now done that. He's got 6 lings that have just popped out, so they're going to make their way up across the map. He happened to drone scout in the correct direction straight away, which is just perfect for him. So he's going to run up here and actually get some really good damage done. Rossi, meanwhile, did actually go for a much safer play, of course, going for the racks and the high ground and getting that gas coming in. So he will go for a Reaper straight away, and the Reaper should come out in time. I'm a little bit worried about the Reaper coming out at the front of the ramp there, which is a little bit scary, but Rossi is completely unaware of this. He will notice that the hatchery is very far behind there. Normally that would be, well, I guess that to be very close to being done, but the Reaper, what is this guy doing? He has no idea what has just happened, and the SCV goes down as well. So that's 2 quick kills there for Mafia with this very early pull strategy. Some SCVs come along. Rossi says, what was that? And I totally agree. The Reaper was just a little bit out of position there, completely unprepared for that early attack. Now, of course, both of these guys very good players, as I mentioned. Rossi is fantastic with his drop play. Wings of Liberty, I do have some casts of Rossi back up in the archives of the channel if you want to go and have a look at him there. But he was a really good drop player, so I'm expecting him to stick with a bio style. Does throw out the mech every now and then, and does a really good job with that. But at the moment, given the current trend with Terran players in TvZ and Heart of the Swarm, I would expect this to go the way of a bio play, especially given that this map is actually quite difficult for mech. Take it from me. So we went for almost a double bunker there from Rossi, and he does get the first one down, but the queens and the 6 lings have come along. Good decision from Mafia there. He says, you know what, if you're not going to repair this bunker, I'm just going to take it down. Screw the Reaper. It takes quite a few shots to actually kill a Zergling there, and if he can keep most of the lings alive, then it'll be relatively well protected, even if the bunker is salvaged, and even if a Reaper survives. So nicely done by Mafia there, choosing the right target. Unfortunately for Rossi, not able to come back and get too much damage done, but we'll see if this Reaper is perhaps able to get some more work done of his own. Now, of course, we mentioned the strengths of Rossi. Of course, he's really good with that drop play. He can throw in the odd crazy strat every now and then, but he is a very solid player. Mafia, very much a solid player, a very solid macro Zerg. He is, I believe, actually just made it to the Grandmaster ladder on Korea, as in, and just made it as in yesterday or something like that. There was a post on the Team Immunity page, I think it was. I didn't actually catch it, but I'll have to double check. But I'm pretty sure he is up in the Grandmasters ranking on Korea. So you can bet your bottom dollar he's a fantastic player as well. Both these players here on C are, of course, Grandmasters, but now we can see that Rossi's going to follow up his early pressure with those Reapers, not really getting a huge amount of damage done, of course, just a couple of worker kills for Mafia, of course, that early SCV scout, and then the SCV that got caught outside the front door as well, but Rossi's going to follow it up. Quick third command center, also a very what is seemingly a very common strategy with these plays that a lot of players are going for. Of course, it is relatively standard, of course, when you are going for a reactor Hellion build, as we can see here from Rossi. He's getting stim researched as well. The natural orbital command is just going to pop down there and get started with the mining, of course, a bunker at the front. And this is the point of the game where you look back at Wings of Liberty, or if you took a Wings of Liberty player from like a year ago and then dropped them in watching this game, and they'd say, why are there Reapers? Why are there Reapers with Hellions? What is all this about? But we do see that quite a few Lings are being produced by Mafia. He's able to get down here, perhaps able to get a little bit of a kill. May get a stop on that bunker. Nope, doesn't even get the SCV that's on it. So, well deflected there by Rossi. Gets his all of his units back in the choke point, and Mafia going to get started on his macro that he is well known for. Up to 42 drones already. We've got another 3 on the way. You can bet that there will be more coming along after that. Evo Chambers also being built at the back. Wants to get started on those upgrades as quickly as possible. His third base also halfway done. So this game just sort of stabilizing for the moment after some slightly early cheese there from Mafia. Not necessarily a hard cheese at all. It's more like a soft cheese, like a like a Colby or something like that. Nice and creamy. Gets a little bit. Gets the job done, but it is not a hard cheese at all. That I think some people refer to it as the eco pool. I don't know if that's still a thing or not, but the 10 pool there. But looks like Mafia is going to get quite a lot of Lings out. We do have a little bit of gas backing up. He does, of course, have are the upgrades coming along? Yes, they are. Do we have a Baneling Nest coming along? Not just yet. So I think he may want to go for some kind of attack with the Lings here, and perhaps even some Banelings, but he will have to try and dodge those Hellions that are through the middle of the map here. Of course, these guys do a brilliant amount of damage against light units. They're 14 damage against all of those Lings, and when you splash it and line them up, then that becomes very deadly. So Rossi will start to switch into a bio style here, as we can see at traditional kind of play here in Heart of the Swarm at the moment. It looks like the Stargate, the Starport, sorry, about to switch over with the factory that had the reactor. Going to get cranking out on some of those medevacs as well. Would not be surprised to see some mines start to come out from Rossi as well. In fact, sorry, he's already got 2 at the front door. So he is getting prepared for that bio mine style, which is becoming the very popular kind of way to play. Of course, if you're watching MLG, this kind of play made a very common appearance at MLG, even during the finals as well. We got to see Flash himself using the bio style with mines added in for extra effect, and it did, well, relatively work quite well. So we'll see what he's able to do with this here. It looks like the +1/1 is about to complete for Mafia. He also has a Baneling Nest and the Macro Hatch on the way. So I think with yeah, it looks like there's a lot of production of Lings coming out. We're going to have a 1/1 Ling Bane attack, and if he can catch these Hellions out, that would be excellent for Mafia there. Does catch 2 of them. Looks like the mines are well prepared. Takes a shot, gets a couple of kills. Not too bad, just 3 kills, but not a huge amount there. And I'll tell you what is a huge amount. 38 Banelings. That's what we've got morphing in here right now for Mafia. He's going to say, you know what, it's time to go, buddy. We've got a lot of things to do, and he's just going to try and roll on through. Of course, they won't have Baneling speed, but, you know, when there's 38 of them, I don't think that quite matters. So, wouldn't mind taking the shot of only 1 Ling there, and in fact, when you consider that the front door wasn't even fully blocked there, Mafia is just easily able to roll on through. SCVs across to the side are in quite a lot of trouble. In fact, we can't even get a shot of them. There we are. That's how much trouble they were in. So that is a ridiculous amount of damage done. 28 worker kills. A couple of Widow Mines trying to survive to protect the front here. But that is so much damage done by Mafia from Team Immunity there. He does a really good job there. We're just really downsizing the economy of our Terran player. He's down to 34 SCVs. And he's got, of course, a few mules that are now popping up at the third base. But Mafia, well, he's now sitting in a very nice position right now. We'll see what damage can get done by this double drop across to the right-hand side. He's going to come in and see what he can do. Of course, he does have stim, combat shields, the concussive shellers available on those Marauders as well. And let's see what can happen happen here because Mafia is complete. Well, he was almost out of position there, but it looks like Rossi going to try and move to the back. Good positioning by him, getting some damage done across the mineral line here and taking down quite a lot of those lings as well. In fact, he'll have to pull up, but yep, gets out of there just in time. One of the medevacs getting full up on units. The other one is, well, he's just deciding to sit around because that could be quite scary. But, you know, not too badly done there by Rossi. He's able to get well, wait, he didn't even get a single working kill there. I don't know what happened with that, but he did get quite a few units killed. So, very nicely done. We got a difference in the units killed tab already. Meanwhile, for Mafia, spreading out the creep through the middle. Of course, this is a very, very, you know, very useful thing to have moving through the middle of the map, just because of the fact that you're looking to play what looks to be a, I would say this is going to be, yeah, Ling Bane and probably Muta. Yeah, the Spire is on the way. So there is, whoops, there's the Spire, is now morphing in. That's just under halfway done. So it looks as if he is going to go for the Mutiling Bane, which has been also a very common way for Zerg players to try and deal with Terrans these days in Heart of the Swarm. And of course, you know, if you've got your creep spread spreading out through the middle section of the map like this, where you're basically across to the other half of the map, then you've already won a particular battle, and that's the one of having a lot of map presence and map vision. We look at the how much of the map that Mafia can see. Look at this. It's effectively this whole quadrant of the map is in vision here. He is going to see this drop, and I would not be surprised if he reacts to this quite quickly. There it is, just floating on through the vision of one of the overlords here. We'll probably see these Lings of Banes just move across, but there is that another drop? Yes, it is. There is another drop just coming across as well. But the drop does actually make it inside the main. Mafia a little bit slow to get into action there. It looks like Rossi having a little bit of trouble trying to find out where to drop here. The medevac is actually going to run into a wall of queens just everywhere here, and he will have to get out of dodge because there is no way that he's going to be able to do any damage with these Marines, but they do have their 2-2 weapons now done. 3-3 is researching as well. Keeping on top of that is Rossi. Meanwhile, we've now got 3 factories. It's not often that you would have, back in the day, you would have seen 3 factories for a Terran player, but you know what he's doing? He's getting all these Widow Mines out, and despite the fact that, you know, there are ways that Zergs can try and circumvent this, if a good Widow Mine blast catches out 1 or 2 packs of units, whether it be some of the Banelings, whether it be some of the Zergs, or the Lings, or even the Mutas, then you're going to get a ridiculous amount of damage done, and there we go, catching out quite a lot of that. And again, so Mafia's forces just absolutely obliterated there. Despite actually having quite a lot of army potential there, he was just torn apart by the Widow Mines there. Of course, they do have a very long cooldown, but they do so much damage. They do 125 damage, plus 35 of course against shields, and they also do that 40 splash damage. So that's why they do tend to tear apart these very light, unarmored kind of armies that the Zerg players are putting together at the moment. So Mafia going to have to resupply, try and get back his count of mutas. Got the upgrades for the mutas on the way as well, +1 on that air attack. We've also got a few more drones popping out along with an infestation pit. But for our Terran player, he's got 4 Widow Mines, continually producing those Widow Mines. We've also got the Drilling Claws also being researched. This upgrade is absolutely phenomenal if you are going to add Widow Mines into your play. I think during the finals of MLG, Flash versus Life, we didn't actually really see Flash getting this upgrade, and this was extremely curious to me. I had no idea why. He wasn't necessarily getting 3 factories like we see Rossi doing right now, but he was very extensively using Widow Mines, and it just was perplexing to me as to why he wasn't actually, you know, sort of getting that Drilling Claws upgrade. It does cost 150, which is obviously a sizable amount, but, you know, it's still something that you can get at this stage of the game. So, Mafia catches out a double block that was going through the top section of the map. The Mutas able to get a lot of damage done. Of course, the Mutas have taken a little bit of damage. We've got some red and some orange and some yellow ones there, but, you know, these guys now with their tissue regeneration regen so much faster than they used to back in Wings of Liberty. So this adds a little bit of an interesting dynamic for a Zerg player if they want to try and get some various flybys done with these mutas. They're able to do so, coming through the main, taking out a few turrets, also some of those SCVs there as well. Rossi reacting quickly, very well done by him to get those get the command centers out of the way. But I mean, there is damage being done all over the place. Mafia running through the natural, they're getting a little bit of damage done, but the Lings, well, they've forced the lift off at this 3rd base, so that has cut cut down the mining just a bit here at Fort Rossi, not to mention the fact that his harvester count is at 33. He's still very low right now. He does have, I believe is it just 3? Yeah, it's just 3 orbital commands at the moment. So he doesn't have a huge amount of mules that he can bring out, but there certainly is quite a few of them that are available if he needs to. And of course, you know, we will commonly see that. Now, what does that mean if he's not using the orbital energy for scans? Well, the creep spread. Look at this stuff from Mafia. He is now snaking his way. It's very much like Leon with his octopus style. Instead of being the attacks in the units, it's actually the creep that is spreading through the map. And it looks like Rossi is now trying to push through. That Drilling Claws upgrade is going to help out these Widow Mines with their attack. But the Mutas back at the natural base are doing quite a lot of damage here, taking down so many of those SCVs. The Marines come to save the day. And with 3-3 upgrades, all of these infantry units are going to be doing a huge amount of damage. And Rossi, sensing a bit of a weakness here, comes through. The Widowmine's burrow. He's going to slowly leapfrog some of these, I would assume. Yes, he does. Coming through now. We'll see if they get a shot off. Yes, they do. Taking down quite a lot of those Zerg units, and every single one of the Banelings there, catching off so much of that. And, you know, that battle looks very interesting. Like, despite the fact that that Rossi actually lost quite a lot of what he had here, Mafia has also lost a lot of what he had too. So if Rossi can get out of here and save some of those Widow Mines, which he has done very, very nicely there, I do really, really like that he saved those Widow Mines. You don't want to just, if you've got the medevacs there, they've got that Ignite Afterburners, save the Widow Mines. It's not as if, you know, it's not as if they're complete throwaway units. They cost 25. So, you know, they do cost a little bit of gas, of course, which is one of the limiting factors of StarCraft 2. And the creep spread, look at this. This is coming across into the third base of Rossi. And now he's going to try and push through the middle here, but one thing he doesn't have is a scan so that he can throw down and try and deal with some of the huge creep spread through the middle. Look at this. Mafia is now coming up through the top side, almost coming across to the natural of Rossi there. So it looks like the infantry units are again trying to push through with a little bit of cover from those Widow Mines there, taking a few shots on top of the Mutas, but he will be able to get into this base here. And this is a really interesting part of this play. Normally you would not see a Terran player pushing out without a few tanks, without a lot of Marines, but Rossi is able to get damage done with a huge amount, you know, with a huge amount of, you know, brave there, just so brave to try and push through with a small amount of Marines, but he does have the backup of some of those Widow Mines there, and they've been able to help out. But it looks as if the end of this run is done, but I mean, he's taken out the Ultralisk Cavern, he took out the 4th base, so Mafia is now down to just the 3 bases, mining along with 48 drones here. He's starting to struggle a little bit with his income. Of course, the natural base is pretty much done, the main is all gone, and the 3rd is starting to get a little bit low as well. So Rossi is just keeping himself in the game by just continually putting on these attacks. Despite not necessarily having a huge death ball of units, he is still able to get a massive amount of damage done. So, you know, I would not be surprised to see him perhaps try and just do some drops inside the main to distract some of the forces while he continues to maneuver around the map. But it looks as if he is content to just sit back for the moment, continue to produce those Widow Mines. We've got still quite a few Marines out as well, and just continual production of these Widow Mines. This is actually the most production of Widow Mines I've seen, and that is a pretty cool thing to see, just given the fact that they're a new unit, there's a new strategies you can try and implement, and he's doing a very good job with these mines at the moment. But Mafia, not done yet. He's going to try and push through into the natural base here. Actually captures quite a lot of those Marines, but these guys are Space Marines. I tell you what, they've got 3-3 in stim. They take out quite a lot of the Lings, but the Lings are, whoop, almost made it inside the main base, but Rossi is reacting very well to that. It looks like some of the Marines coming back across. Infested Terrans popping out because we do have 9 Infestors now out on the map. There is also a Reaper being built by Rossi. I'm not sure what the deal is with that, but he does have a Reaper on the way, just trying to clear out some of this creep spread, because otherwise this 4th base is never going to get down, and he is going to start to need that very soon. This is one of the key points of the map. If Mafia can hold this 4th base, get this up and running, and then maybe even move across and take a 5th as well, then he can, you know, really just keep his position in this map. But he's still down at 94 supplies, building up some of his units. We got 10 Mutas about to pop out as well. These guys don't have huge upgrades. They've got 1-1, which is not too bad, but when you're dealing with 3-3 Marines, you've got Widow Mines just interspersed around the map in in incredible locations, then it can be quite troublesome for those mutas to actually get any work done. But the command center in jeopardy here. Mafia coming along, trying to throw down some infested terrors to deal with that, but the Widowmine's chasing after, calling those infestors rude names, and unfortunately not able to kill them, but he was able to force them back for the time being. The mutas look like they're going to try and sweep through. They're going to be very quiet and try and rush in on this command center. It's on half health, less than half health now. Can he get it? I don't think he can. The Marines are now coming along. Despite being on very low health, those Marines are going to force the mutas back, and the mines will burrow to protect this fourth base. So this is another point, actually. If Rossi can hold this, then he's going to push it into his favor, because of course Mafia is now invested quite heavily in those infestors, and of course infestors have had quite a lot of you know, they've been looked down upon in the community just because of the fact that they were nerfed quite a lot. Their fungal growth is now a projectile that can be a little bit difficult to work with, and of course, you know, when you're dealing with a Terran player who's got these mines everywhere, that can be a really troublesome thing to deal with, of course, because the infestors will get blasted apart by those mines. Of course, they cannot, you know, you can throw down a fungal to deal with the mines because it does reveal them, but it's not perhaps the best idea. But looks like Mafia is trying to save some of these infestors, but they get cornered, surrounded like raptors there, and they are able to take them out, but the muta's still able to get rid of the third base of Rossi here, so he's starting to struggle with his own economy at the moment. But the big question is, how much damage can he get done here? We've got SCVs being pulled, fungal growths being thrown down on SCVs, perhaps not the thing that Mafia would have wanted to do there, but he has to, because these guys are just on the charge. Look at these four guys, they're absolute heroes. They are absolute champions of their time. They're coming along trying to take care of those the infestors with their drilling claws, but it takes a long time for that. 3 Widow Mines here to protect this planetary fortress, but the big damage is being done here at the 4th of Mafia. I think he is in quite a lot of trouble here. The drones are about to go down. These are perhaps the last big batches of drones that Mafia has, and while this is all going on, we are losing some of the units in the middle here for Mafia, so his 4th is gone. There are a few Widow Mines here. There's a few Widow Mines here which will help out with this attack. So Rossi continuing to pressure with this very just heavy Widow Mine style, not even worrying about the fact that there are some infestors and lings out there. He's just going to throw caution to the wind, and then he throws the missiles from the Widow Mine to the wind, and they just do huge amounts of damage. And here they go. Rossi now pushing in. Big hits there on those lings across to the side. We've got, you know, some big kills on some of these Widow Mines, but there is a pretty decent fungal as well on top of the ramp. Maybe Mafia can rescue this game if he can continue to chain the fungals, but no, it's just not enough. There are too many Marines here. There are some Widow Mines at the top protecting, along with the medevacs here to support as well. And despite a couple of really good fungals here from Mafia, I don't think he's going to be able to save this game. The 4th base of Rossi is still up and running, despite the mutas that came across to try and take it down. But there is just way too much here. The mines are still undetected at the moment. There you go. He actually does throw down the fungal so that he can see them, but there is still at least 7 of them here. Yeah, there's six Widow Mines that are here, and if their timer comes back and they are able to shoot down these queens, that's effectively pretty much the nail in the coffin here from Mafia. But I tell you what, with this big group of Marines now making its way down the map, we've got a total of 35 Marines, 5 medevacs, and of course those 14 Widow Mines that are out on the map. This is not looking good at all, and I don't think it's going to happen. There you go, a couple of Widow Mines to finish off the game there, and a really interesting game there from our Terran player Rossi. He's brought out a very heavy Widow Mine style, just seeing what you can do with some of these new kinds of the units and the skills that are available in the game, and I really enjoyed this one, just to see someone use a very tankless style, I think you would say there, the Marine Mine style. I'm trying to think of some cool little nickname for it. I don't know. I'll work on that. You work on that. If you have a cool nickname for that kind of style, drop it in the comments. Make sure you share and you know, like the comment, like the video, and subscribe and all those cool things, and I'll catch you next time. Just morphing in now, but there is going to be a drop on this on the right hand side of the map here at the 4th of Pig, taking down a couple of drones. Not a huge amount, of course. We just look at the worker losses there, and it favors Pig greatly right now, so doing a really good job of